Good morning to everybody, especially to Madam Norzaida and Madam Shamimi. I am Deirdre from Class C S2435B. So today I am presenting my final proposal entitled Determining the Water Quality Index using Fuzzy Logic Technique. Here I briefly explain a little bit about the content of my presentation, where I will present on the background of my topics, the problem statement, the objective, the scope, significance, a little bit of the explanation on the literature review, research phases, framework, and also present to you my progress on doing this topic. So, for the introduction, as we know, water is playing an important role in human life and wildlife, but due to the pollution, the quality of water nowadays is extremely declining. What is water pollution exactly? Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies that occur when pollutant is indirectly or directly discharged into water bodies without adequate treatment to remove the harmful sediment. These issues will impact the environment and human life, and today become a concern. Why it happens? This is due to the human or industrial activities. Water supplies are increasingly being contaminated and inaccessible. The growing pollution of thousands of freshwater systems, one of the main environmental concerns of industrial and natural chemical compounds, is facing humanity internationally. Next is the problem statement. Water quality index were calculated manually using certain parameters such as the turbidity, temperature, pH value, and many more. However, this method is time-consuming and only can be done in the laboratory. Here is the solution. This research would propose a system for the user, and they only need to key in the chosen parameter values and they will get the result immediately. Three objectives are being listed on doing this research. First one is to identify the criteria in determining the water quality index. Second, to design water quality index determination system using fuzzy logic. And the last but not least is to develop a water quality index system determination to the users. For the scope of this project, the 6 parameters will be used in determining the water quality index, such as biochemical oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, dissolved oxygen, ammonia nitrogen, suspended solids, and also the pH value of the water. The fuzzy technique involved is the fuzzy inferences system, where I had choose the Mamdani method to solve the rules of the system. With Mamdani method, this research scope were minimized by presenting the if-then rules to identify the water quality index. The system will be built using the MATLAB coding language. Next, the significance of this project is it could be a benchmark to other future studies in fuzzy logic technique and water quality index determination as the advancement of technology rapidly growing nowadays. More than that, we can develop suitable system fuzzy logic model to compare and produce more accurate results in determining the water quality index. On this literature review, as I mentioned, there will be only 6 parameters to be involved on making this system. For the better understanding about this research, here is the summary to my research but focus on how competent is the system would be. The system would use a fuzzification engine to receive a plurality of the input variables on its output. The system being adapted to compute membership function parameters, while for the output of the system, the defuzzification unit operative will translate the inference result into a discrete Cripps value of water quality index. For the related works, I briefly present 2 articles of the previous study which relate to these topics of mine. The first one is the web-based system for visualization of water quality index, where this research they made using fuzzy logic, but monitoring using the Google Earth to visualize water quality status. This research used the usage of color and shape, which they believe it is an easy implementation of water quality status, which allow everyone to get involved in monitoring and management of river. Second related works is the articles entitled Development of Water Quality Index for Godavari River, India, based on the fuzzy inference system. In this research paper, it gave the similarity on the progress where in that articles they developed the system using triangular and trapezoidal membership function with centroid, bisector and mean of maxima methods of defuzzification. For the research phases, I started with doing the preliminary study where I'm searching for the related works, then go to the next phases, which is the knowledge acquisition. This is when I already identified the parameters that will be used. After that, it goes to the data representation where I identify the input and the output of the system. On system design, user interface will build for the references system building. The fifth phase is the system development, where here we can clearly see the graph of the result using the membership function graph. On system testing and evaluation phases, random value of parameters will be tested and the accuracy will be observed. Lastly, documentation of this research is made for the final report. For the framework of this study, 2 out of 3 objectives were satisfied, where the process started from the preliminary study until system design was made along this proposal has been done. On the objective 1, we had satisfied the needs by identifying the problem, scope, and significance, and the parameters of the water quality index involved is being chosen. Objective 2, we had satisfied by classifying field of water quality index with different levels. There will be 3 of it, which is non-polluted, slightly polluted, and polluted. On system design, user interface were briefly built using PowerPoint and MATLAB. Objective 3 is yet to be satisfied, where on this phase, the system should be able to be ready to be used. On these slides are the process flow diagram of how the fuzzy inferences system would stating with the input growing through the fuzzification with the 6 parameters chosen and directed to the fuzzy inferences engine, where rules are being applied along with its membership function were being observed. And the last part of the process, which is the defuzzification, it will be classified according to its level of pollution. On this final explanation from this proposal, I am able to identify the problems, objectives, scope, and also the significance of this research. In order to proceed the system building, I identified the suitable fuzzy inferences system and also the process diagram flow was built. For my research progress, I have completed on reviewing the literature on previous articles and also collecting knowledge on the method of fuzzy inferences system technique, while designing and building the system were still undergoing. At the end of this task, fuzzy rules will be needed to be listed and samples will be tested. That's all from my presentation. Thank you for listening.